What was your first name, sir?
Edward?
Edward?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been arrested before, Edward?
In the past, yeah.
In the past? Okay, for what?
I'd rather not answer any questions.
Okay. I'm just making conversation with you.
Yeah, I'd just rather not answer any questions.
Okay. Where are you headed?
Home.
Home? Okay.
Have you ever seen like the depot?
Yeah. So what happened back on the freeway? Was it a crash or what? Okay. I understand.
I just figured if you didn't want to answer any questions.
I know. I understand.
Do you still live in Danville?
20.
Edward, can I give you a piece of advice?
Yes, sir.
So, when the police ask you to step out of the car, you're actually required by law to do so. In this instance, we're actually being polite with you.
Okay.
And not forcing you out of your car. Do you understand that?
Okay.
So, you may run into some police officers who aren't as nice as we are.
I appreciate that.
And when you tell them no, they'll probably ask you one more time, and then they will just reach through your window and pull you out of your car.
I apologize.
And then place you under arrest for resisting.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I figured you didn't that you didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So, traffic stops, the Supreme Court has ruled that traffic stops are inherently dangerous for police officers.
I understand that. You guys have a dangerous job.
Sure.
I agree.
And so that you are actually required to follow all lawful commands on a traffic stop. So if he said, hey, I want you to step out of my car and just have a seat on my bumper, you're actually required by law to do so.
Yeah. I'm scared of the traffic coming off of the freeway, honestly.
Sure.
I just feel safer inside the car with the traffic coming off the freeway.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, luckily for you, there's a car behind that police car that you'd be standing at that would cushion that, you know?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of scary accidents.
Kind of considered a death trap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually the safest place on a traffic stop is outside of your car and off to the shoulder, which is where you would be when directed back. Okay. So I figured you didn't know that, right? Or maybe you've seen some videos online where people refuse to get out of their car. Those videos typically end with their window being smashed and them being pulled out of their car.
Okay.
And all of that is 100% lawful for the police to do.
Okay.
In this instance, we try to convince people to get out of the car instead of forcing them out, right?
Okay.
So, just a little bit.
I appreciate you guys being so
the case law, if you want to look it up, is Pennsylvania versus Mims.
Pennsylvania versus Mims?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which went all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
And that
I think I've heard people talking about that on like YouTube before, Pennsylvania versus Mims.
That includes all passengers inside of a vehicle.
Okay.
They have to abide by the laws as well. They don't necessarily have to identify themselves with an ID. You know, if you had a passenger in the car and I said, "Hey, can I have your ID?" and they said no. Okay.
Right, they don't have to.
No big deal. But if I asked that person to step out of the car, they're required by law to do so.
Okay.
Okay?
I understand.
So,
what would you recommend is the best way to learn about, like, how to deal, like, from a driver's perspective, how to deal with, like, police, like you're saying, like, there's videos online and stuff, and a lot of people say what you're doing, what you're, like, what's the best way as a driver to...
First would be, obviously, don't violate any traffic laws. Right. That's number one. You won't have any encounters with police if you do that. Number two is, what I always tell people is the time to argue with the police, it's not right here.
Right.
Okay.
Not on the side of the road.
Not on the side of the road, because I'll tell you this, we're always going to win on the side of the road.
Right.
Where you're actually going to be able to beat the police is in court.
Okay.
Okay, so if maybe you don't agree with what he's issuing you a ticket for, right now isn't the time to argue with him about it. It's, okay, thank you. And
you guys are doing your job. I was in the wrong.
Yeah, and then you'll have your day in court. Even if, like I had said before, you didn't want to get out of the car, we're being polite with you and nice and not forcing you out of your car, which we're legally able to do. Mm-hmm. The way that you can educate yourself, you're back to your original question, the way that you can educate yourself is not through YouTube. Because you have a lot, even people who claim to be lawyers on YouTube are giving a lot of bad advice to people.
Like, is there any good books you would recommend reading, or like...
The California Vehicle Code.
California Vehicle Code?
Yeah, it's about 20,000 pages long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the best way to learn? Okay.
Yeah. Or there's actually a website called Shouse Law.
Okay, I haven't heard of that. Shouse Law?
Shouse Law. SHOUSLAW.
Oh, that's new. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look at that. I actually, 2 years ago, me and my fiance had woken up. She had woken up at 5:30 a.m. to our cat scratching her in the face, and our entire apartment had caught fire. It caught a blaze, and the kitchen and the entire living room area, this was in San Ramon, was so engulfed in flames. We tried going out through the front door, and we were on the second story, and it was so much smoke.
He has your ticket for you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Unless you want to hang out and keep talking with
I'll tell him what happened.
No, he wants to finish telling his story.
So, it was so thick with smoke, we got shoved back into the room, and we closed the room door, and the entire room was so filled up with smoke, couldn't even see out the window.